ABC 10's Devin Truby has the latest.
Thousands still without power here in Nevada City. Many residents unable to get to their home and others that have been stuck inside them for multiple days.
Power is still out. It's been out since Sunday.
Just 2 miles outside Nevada City, Jennifer Heatherman and her family have been stuck inside their home for 6 days. This is her view. ABC 10 made 3 attempts to reach her up Bloomfield Road, blocked by PG&E down power lines where they're doing work. Jennifer is a mom who's also 4 months pregnant. As a former member of the military, she describes it as
legitimately looks like a bomb went off on that road.
Then we tried driving Rock Creek Road until unplowed conditions became impassable, and a third possibility was blocked by a downed tree. If ABC 10 couldn't get to her, Jennifer is worried who can.
I feel very scared because pregnancy complications that can happen in the second trimester, and they're usually pretty severe situations. I don't know where a medevac would land near here.
And it's only going to get worse. The community came together to help 2 elderly neighbors get evacuated. The Heathermans will be evacuating to a neighbor's home ahead of the next storm because they only have 10% of their propane left. At one point, they were considering snowshoeing to Nevada City with their 2.5-year-old.
We've had to turn off our generator during the daylight hours. We don't have a generator going right now, and we only turn it on to basically keep the pipes from freezing.
For others in Nevada City, George, who is a co-owner of Lika's Cafe, they can't go home because it's snowed over and there's no power. So they're commuting over an hour each day from Sacramento to the cafe.
Devastating for businesses. We're doing about 1/10 of our normal business. So unfortunately for my employees, it's very difficult on them. We can't have them in because we're not making enough to pay them. I don't even know if I'll make rent this month.
We see snow removal crews and PG&E working around the clock to clear as much as possible and fix as much as possible before the next storm system hits on Saturday.
Now, the stranded families have notified 211 and PG&E. They are pleading for another propane delivery. Of course, stay with ABC 10 for updates. And new tonight, people in Grass Valley received 2 feet of snow with more on the way. The snow is weighing down rooftops and running the risk of caving in. Nevada County first responders are teaming up to rescue people trapped in the snow.
We've had some commercial structures cave in, we've had residents cave in, we've had trees onto structures come down. Some people are just trying to get those trees off, some people are trying to snow shovel the extra weight of load that's just going to have more snow on top.
Firefighters are urging people to get more firewood, propane, food and water before this next storm moves in. And keep in mind, a food distribution event was held today in Placerville for people impacted by the recent storms. It was held from 10 a.m. this morning until noon at the Placerville Library. The free event offered non-perishable food items and more. With yet another storm expected this weekend, officials say the emergency food bank was necessary.
Just trying to put food back in people's refrigerators and freezers because of power outages, and just helping our neighbors.
If I have food, my neighbor will never be hungry. And that's how it has to be. We just have to help each other out. And we're a community, and El Dorado Food Bank is a huge part of our community, and I really appreciate them.
Yeah, we're told most of the items at the food bank did go to families in need who lived in snow-covered areas. Well, new tonight, some state lawmakers are asking for national disaster declarations for California. The governor will need to make the formal request to President Biden. A national disaster declaration would bring much needed federal resources to areas hard hit by the back-to-back storms. And all the recent snow is making for some good news tonight when it comes to drought conditions. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minshif was there today for the 3rd snow survey.
I'm up here in Phillips, California, where we just finished with the March snow survey, and the numbers coming out really good, really beneficial numbers. In fact, we're 177% of the average to date and 170% of the April 1st average as it relates to snowpack. The state as a whole is 190% of average, and that's some really good news. Now, with some warmer storms potentially in the forecast with some maybe high elevation rain is snow melt and an increased runoff, something that we should be concerned about right now.
That storm is generating a lot of interest, but at this point, it needs to be really warm to actually melt a lot of that snow, and that rain has to be really warm. If we have a cold snowpack, it takes a lot of energy to actually warm this thing up and actually generate a lot of runoff.
So there you have it. We're not doing too bad, even if we get some of that warmer storms in the middle of March. Really, the problem becomes when we see those warm storms in the middle and end of April, and then obviously later than that. So again, there's 2 years worth of snow up here waiting to melt. We're not in a bad position as things stand. And I think we'll take that compared to where we have been over the last few years. In Phillips, California, Brendan Minchef for ABC 10.
That is good perspective, huh?
Yeah.
2 years worth of snow. Fair to call this system a drought buster?
I know, we want to call it that. As we did see the drought monitor yesterday, it did show a huge percentage of the state actually out of drought, but we're still seeing it abnormally dry, and that's what they're calling it for the areas that are no longer in drought. But let's talk about Phillips Station. Every start of the month, we do see a new release on where we are with our snow depth. We're here at 116.5 inches where they recorded that today, snow depth. That's a water equivalent of 41.5 inches. And precipitation-wise, as Brendan mentioned, 177% for this date. Now, statewide, we have 130 sensors, and that brought in our snow water equivalent across the entire state now at 44.7 inches compared to just right there at Phillips Station at 41.5. Let's talk about the April Sierra snowpack, because pretty much right around April 1st is typically the last time they do these actual snow depth checks, because that's typically when we stop getting a lot of our snow. But I have a feeling we're going to be doing maybe another one if we get into May. You can take a look here at snowpack percentages. The Southern Sierra, 209% of average, and statewide, we're about 171%. Now, clouds are starting to roll in as the next system is set to arrive for tomorrow. Overnight, though, we'll see temperatures right around those mid-40s as rain begins to arrive tomorrow mid-morning hours. We're also looking at very strong wind gusts headed our way. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Okay, Carly, thank you.